to the witness table. Senator Ingebrigtsen, Vice Chair of the committee, will be taking the committee. And so, Senator Ingebrigtsen, do you want to come forward? We'll be hearing Senate File 210. So at this point, I'm going to go out here. Senator Ingebrigtsen, sit here.
Go ahead, Senator Senjum. Oh, you're not there yet. I'm sorry. Good afternoon, and welcome, committee and members. Before us today, Senator Senjum.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I'm going to be very brief. I had additional comments, but I may say them till the end. But this is Senate File 210. It is the bill that we, in fact, then saw last May 22nd towards the wee hours of midnight, and we bring it back. It's, for all intents and purposes, the bill. It is the same in terms of projects, amounts, and policy. There is a technical amendment, and Ms. James is there. The technical amendment I need to offer to bring, if you will, the bill in order. The bill, as it was presented last May, had some, if you will, needs some work in terms of technical changes, and we're going to do that through the amendment at this point, and at that point we'll begin to take testimony.
Senator Senjum offers the A12 amendment to basically put his bill in order to Senate File number 210. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Senator Senjum, your bill is in order.
Okay. At this point, Mr. Chair, I'm going to, again, in the essence of time, sit back and allow the testifiers to testify.
Okay, thank you, Senator Senjum, and members and testifiers specifically. We're going to allow 2 minutes testimony for each and every one on the list. There are only changes to the list that you have in front of you is Commissioner Dave Frederickson will be after John Lingstein, Commissioner of PCA. And after Tom Schaefer, Assistant Commissioner, Minnesota IT, we're going to put Jeff Freeman, PFA. And we'd like to have all 3 chairs filled at one time as we're going along. So we'll start out with Senator Rest. And again, 2 minutes. And thank you so much. Senator Rest.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The project that I would like to call to your attention is the AOC Clean Water Campaign to continue cleaning up the Duluth Harbor and the St. Louis River estuary. It was in the bill last year. There are funds available from the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative, federal funds, but they are dependent upon state matching funds, and it's basically a 2-to-1 match. We would rather have the full amount, $25.4 million, but I know in the bill it is half that amount because we were anticipating it being a 2-year phase-in. A number of years ago, the Great Lakes authorities designated a number of areas along the Great Lakes as areas of concern. The one on Lake Superior that's at the city of Duluth was one of the worst because of the support from both President Bush and President Obama. And we understand that in his confirmation hearing that Secretary-designate Pruitt has indicated that he supports the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative, and we're very pleased about that and hope that these funds can be forthcoming. And with that, I will just let Ms. Eilers make a brief comment within our 2-minute period.
Ms. Eilers, thank you for coming to the committee. Please identify yourself.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. My name is Chris Eilers. I'm the Executive Director of the St. Louis River Alliance in Duluth. The Alliance is a grassroots nonprofit organization, and we've been leading the effort to secure the state funds to trigger the federal funds that will clean up the St. Louis River estuary and the Duluth Harbor. We appreciate the broad bipartisan support the St. Louis River Estuary Cleanup Project has with the legislature and with Governor Mark Dayton. Just to add to Senator Rest's comments, $47.2 million in federal funding is available and awaiting the state match to secure it. Once the state match is made available, we can complete the paperwork and cleanup will begin. If Minnesota is unable to provide the match this year, we are concerned that other regions in the Great Lakes will step forward and move to the front of the line. We feel very strongly that the legislature appropriate the full amount of the state match this year, which is $25.4 million. We appreciate your leadership, Mr. Chair, and the support for this important project. As you can see from the handout, we have a broad coalition of local, regional, and statewide support. Our partners are actively engaged and looking forward to the day when the St. Louis River and the Duluth Harbor will be delisted as an area of concern by 2025. We're excited not only for clean water, but for the restoration of world-class fishery habitat and the economic revitalization that has already begun and will continue if this project moves forward. On behalf of our members and our coalition, we strongly encourage the legislature to pass a bonding bill this year so we can begin this important work. Thank you for your time, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Thank you much.
Mr. Chairman? Mr. Chairman, if I could just add to that, there are a number of Minnesota legislators that are members of the Great Lakes Legislative Caucus, and I would encourage our new members to also join. I'm joined by Senator Rude as the 2 out of 5 members of the Great Lakes Commission. And we're strongly supportive, the caucus is strongly supportive of these projects. If the money does come our way for this, I must say that even though I've lived in my own city for 40 years, Duluth is my favorite Minnesota city. I believe it is the jewel of our state, and I am a great partisan of the city of Duluth. If we get this money, the cleanup can be completed by 2020, and the AOC, the area of concern, can be delisted, which is the ultimate goal, by 2025. And we're on course for doing that because of the work that's been done in the last 7 or 8 years. So I would certainly appreciate your consideration.
Thank you.
And I've appreciated the support of Senator Senjo in the caucus in the past. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you so much. And I'd like to have Commissioner Franz, Zelli, and Linkstein please take the 3 chairs up front, starting out with Commissioner Franz. Okay.
Mr. Chair?
Please continue.
Mr.
Welcome
Chair,
to the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, we spoke last week, and I just want to take, as you suggested, 2 minutes to talk about affordability, and then there are many different agencies and people here who want to talk about the needed projects. As you know, the governor's recommended a $1.5 billion bonding project. I just want to give you a brief overview of why we think we can afford that at this time. You will recall that we had over $3 billion of requests. So in the governor's request, we've brought that down to $1.5 billion. But we currently have $8 billion in debt outstanding. We have guidelines that project, what we can afford. And right now, we can afford to pay for up to a $3.2 billion bonding bill and still be within our debt guidelines. We're not suggesting that. We're just saying that we have the capacity to do so. But one of the things that we know that if we pass a bonding bill of $1.5 billion, the debt percent of the general funds would go down to about 3.2% in next year. We believe that when Fitch restored our AAA rating last year, one of the things that Fitch said was that the state of Minnesota, with our combined debt and other unfunded liabilities, is very low, and in terms of the median for the other states. They recommended that, said that we have a well-established debt policy, we control issuance, and require rapid amortization of general obligation debt. We believe that the cost at this time to borrow this money is at a good time, and we recommend that we go forward with the bonding bill. And I'm happy to work with this committee as we go forward to make sure that we can afford any debt capacity or any debt obligation that we issue. Any questions, Mr. Chair?
No questions at this time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Zelli.
Hello, this is Charlie Zelli, Commissioner of the Department of Transportation.
Welcome to the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Senators. I'm here to comment on an important asset category within the bonding bill, our extensive highway and transit system. It is clearly an important part of supporting every other part of our economy and our quality of life. The local bridge and road program that's highlighted in the bill is really critical, and I just want to say that the need is dramatically more than what is outlined in the bill. And to give you a little flavor, we have categorized in excess of $1 billion of local bridges which are structurally deficient, just to give you a sense of the need. The best way to approach that need is through a comprehensive transportation finance program. This is one-time money. It's great, but it doesn't by itself solve the issue of kind of the eroding, depreciating assets. In particular, the earmarks associated with the trunk highway system is all about expansion, and there's some troubles with that. One is we're not really addressing the eroding preservation needs of our trunk highway system. And those particular projects, which are highlighted, are much more costly than the money provided. They actually don't fit into the sequence of priorities determined by our department, and they actually don't account for some of the local investments, the local government investments that would be required to get those projects in shape. So I have distributed some letters that both from me and from 11 of the past transportation chairs to kind of highlight that there's issues with both in policy and practicality. Many of those projects are not ready. But again, I just really want to highlight that the importance of this capital investment. We believe that there's much more to be done. We have a more robust and increasingly transparent project selection process, which we are happy to work with the legislature to highlight how a comprehensive 10-year, multi-billion-dollar need to keep our system in great shape.
Thank you for those comments. I think everybody here and probably in the audience knows how important that transportation money is to get out in Minnesota, and we look forward to this moving forward. So, thank you. Commissioner
Thank you.
We're going to hold questions until the end. We're just taking testimony.
Oh, Mr. Chairman, we're going to make all these commissioners sit here till the very end if we have questions for them.
If it's really quick, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Commissioner Zelli, would it be helpful to you if there was some kind of flexibility language that if a project wasn't just ready to go, if it could be used for another project that was on the priority list? I know that there is some flexibility in terms of the dollar amount, but just asking.
Mr. Chair, Senator Pappas, I think there are all good projects, so we're not saying that they're not, but I think by having them listed, often there's an expectation that those will be delivered. So either we are drawing resources from other more high priority projects, which in terms of their readiness and their need might actually not even be on the list. So my only concern is that it would appear as though it's setting a priority in jumping the queue from other projects which are needed. But of course, flexibility is always good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Ms. Gauthier from the Commissioner of Pollution Control.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Stein apologizes he could not be here this afternoon. He has been on jury duty all week and got dismissed every day until today. So now he is being interviewed to be on a jury in Ramsey County. So he sent me instead. I'm the legislative director, and thank you for the opportunity to testify. My name is Greta Gauthier, and I'm at the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency. This bill contains $22.6 million in bonding appropriations for 3 projects that would be taken under by our agency, starting on page 14 of the bill as introduced. The first one is the cleanup in the St. Louis River up in the Duluth area. This is a project that we hope to access federal money that is available on a 2-to-1 match. So in this bill, there is $12.705 million to provide state match that would generate around $25 million federal match. The governor, in his bonding request for 2017, has recommended that we bond for $25.4 million, which is the full amount of the state match, so that we can generate a $47 million federal match. This is the second biggest cleanup site on the Great Lakes. And right now, the federal funds to match our state dollars are available through this federal fiscal year, and then we are not certain what will happen after that. So we would urge that you consider the value of triggering the match this year. The second project we have is part of our closed landfill program. This is a landfill in Andover, Minnesota. This landfill is the #1 cleanup priority in our program. There are about 6,600 barrels of toxic waste that were put there in the early 70s, and we believe that it is time to clean that up now. There are about, when it was built, there was no one living there. Now there are 20,000 people that live within a mile of this site. So we want to get this project cleaned up to protect the environment and public health. The third project we have is part of our capital assistance program. That's a program that gives financial incentives to local governments to increase their recycling facilities. And this is a grant for $9.25 million for Polk County, Minnesota, for Phase 2 of a regional solid waste management system that they have been working on. When it's completed, this project will divert more than 20,000 tons of trash from landfills per year. So, Mr. Chairman, those are the 3 MPCA projects in this bill. And we're very grateful for the hearing today, and thank you for your intention to move it forward. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you so much. And from this point, we go with Commissioner Massman, Commissioner Frederickson, and Dolman. And members, I do want to hold the questions till the end. We are allowing only 2 minutes of testimony, and I think this is important enough that the commissioners will certainly hang around if there are some questions. So that would be the best way to do it to make it fair for everybody. So, Commissioner Massman, welcome to the committee.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members. Thank you, Chair Senjum and committee for hearing Senate File 210 and the projects that are in the bill. As required by law.
Just please identify yourself.
Oh, sure. Matt Mossman, Commissioner of Administration.
Thank you. Welcome.
As required by law, Mr. Chairman and committee, the Department of Administration maintains a statewide enterprise database of over 5,500 state-owned properties that includes an apples-to-apples assessment of the condition of those facilities. Over 80% of those facilities have been assessed at this point. And the reason I want to talk about that is what we know from that data is that the state has at least a $1.3 billion deficit in deferred maintenance. I would point out that that does not include the significant infrastructure needs of the University of Minnesota, MnSCU, local governments such as water and sewer systems, or the significant investments needed in the state's roads, bridges, and transit systems. So that $1.3 billion ranges from roofs that are leaking to walls, mechanical systems that need to be replaced, small fixes to substantial repairs, and vacant buildings that either are awaiting reuse or demolition. The cost of delay in investment is high, and regular significant asset preservation is critically needed. We know from the data that the cost of returning a facility in good condition to excellent condition is about $24 per square foot, and if it's dropped to a crisis condition building and then returning it to where we need it to be, it's about $208 per square foot, or about 10 times the amount. So in short, Mr. Chair and members, there's about $460 million at least of deferred maintenance that falls into that poor crisis condition. And we just encourage you to put in as much resources as you possibly can and to fully fund the governor's recommendations in the asset preservation area to make sure we can bend the curve on asset preservation. Specifically to the Department of Administration's recommendations in the bill, thank you for fully funding the Centennial parking ramp, but nothing could be a better example, not necessarily a sexy project, but a better example of what happens when buildings fall into disrepair. In 2005, the fall of, we had to close that facility because of severe safety concerns to one of the levels of the parking ramp. 176 stalls in that ramp remain closed, awaiting bonding support to funded, and as a result, the Parkers on the Capitol complex are paying about $575,000 annually just to support temporary costs for shoring and lost revenue and other things because we're unable to bring that facility back online. So I would encourage full funding for that project for the capital asset preservation account, which right now has a balance of less than $250,000 in it for statewide needs if there's emergency repairs in state facilities. So, Mr. Chair and members, I encourage you to fully support the governor's recommendations for asset preservation and the recommendations for the Department of Administration, but I do want to call your attention to that overarching and significant need that the state has across all agencies across state government for asset preservation. In closing, obviously we've completed or are about to complete what I consider to be the largest asset preservation project in state history, the restoration of the state capitol. I think we can all agree that that was a popular and much needed project. We, of course, did wait until marble was falling off the building and other significant and safety concerns were happening to that building. But the reality is that not all asset preservation projects can be as popular or visible as the Capitol restoration, but they are nonetheless just as important to safety, security, the efficient operations of state government and serving the people of Minnesota well and taking care of our fiduciary responsibilities. So, in short, encourage you to fully fund asset preservation requests for the department and all other agencies. Thank you much.
Capital indeed is something to be proud of. Thank you for your work.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Dolman, welcome to the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senator Sinjum, good afternoon, and members of the committee, good afternoon. My name is Mona Doman, and I'm the Commissioner of Public Safety, and I appreciate the opportunity to come before you today. I'd just like to start by thanking you for including in this bill the oil train and pipeline safety training facility, which would expand the Joint Emergency Response Training Center at Camp Ripley. This expansion is a critical investment for the communities across the state. It will build the infrastructure so local first responders from all around the entire state will have a centrally located facility to learn, train, and understand the risk posed by the transportation of oil and other hazardous substances. Communities along Minnesota railways and pipelines are rightfully concerned about their ability to properly respond to a derailment or pipeline break and subsequent spills and fires. Local elected and public safety officials have expressed a strong desire for more and better training to ensure that they can protect their communities in such an event. The investment of roughly $3.5 million will enhance existing training facilities at Camp Ripley to create a realistic environment where firefighters, law enforcement officers, emergency medical technicians, emergency managers, elected officials, and others could train together on how to effectively respond should an incident occur in their community or their region. The project will include construction of a rail spur, pipeline segment, water supply, and other support structures that will make it as realistic as possible. This project is also included in the governor's bonding bill. And there's another public safety project with statewide impact, also a part of the governor's proposals, that I urge you to consider. We know that all emergencies and disasters are local. They happen on a road, in a city or county, or in a region, and they can happen at any time of the day or night and anywhere around the state. When local governments simply don't have the resources to respond and recover, they call the state. They call the Department of Public Safety to assist. And when we get the call, we implement the state's emergency operations plans, and we activate the State Emergency Operations Center. Investment in a stable, secure, and redundant emergency operations center is a critical need to meet the needs of local government. There is a common misperception that the EOC sits empty and quiet until the emergency happens. In reality, the EOC and Homeland Security and Emergency Management offices are very busy. Over the last 5 years, the EOC has hosted nearly 3,000 events, not counting our daily office activities. It is also heavily used for training, exercises, meetings, conferences, and media events. It's a very busy place, even when there are no emergencies. The current EOC is located in downtown St. Paul in a busy, mixed-use, and densely developed area. It sits right on top of a public underground parking ramp. Its street-level exterior wall is a mere 12 feet from the light rail tracks. We have no ability to secure the approaches to the facility. The doors to the EOC are our first and last access barriers. HSEM Director Joe Kelly could tell you stories about the concerns for security at the facility. In addition, the current EOC lacks redundancy in its infrastructure, which makes it vulnerable in times when it is needed the most. We believe that the shortcomings are unacceptable for a one-of-a-kind, critical, no-fail public safety and continuity of government facility on which the people of Minnesota depend. The investment for this project is $33.2 million. The legislature previously appropriated money for planning and design. The governor's proposal would complete the project. Again, thank you for your consideration for both of these important projects that will benefit the communities around the state of Minnesota, and we look forward to working with you and answering any questions.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. And Commissioner Frederickson, welcome to the committee. And I got to remind members just to stay specifically to the bonding bill that's before you. I know the governor's certainly proposed another one, and we're willing to listen to that at a different time, but please stay with that. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Senator Senjum, and members. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here and talk a little bit about the needs at the Department of Agriculture. We have two simple asks this year. One is for $35 million of bonding authority so we can continue our rural finance agency programs. We are currently out of money and out of authority, and so in order for us to step forward and service the very important programmatic areas, we will have to have this money as quickly as possible. The program partners with local ag lenders to provide low-interest loans to farmers in 4 categories. They're beginning farmer loan and seller-assisted loans, ag improvement, restructure loans, restructure number 2, and livestock expansion. The most critically important right now are obviously beginning farmer and seller-assisted, and also restructuring, given the fact that we are actually in a time similar to the time when this RFA was initially passed and put forward in law, which was 1986, and many of us with gray hair remember what 1986 was like in rural Minnesota. I'm not talking about you, Mr. Chairman. It was a tough time, and the legislature reacted to those tough times with programs. This program has assisted many, many farmers over the last 31 years. It's extremely successful, and I would hope that would be included as we move forward. Authorization of funding ended in December 31st of last year. The RFA is a user finance program. MMB sells bonds as needed. MDA uses bond sale proceeds to partner with banks. MDA does that at a 45% level, so we are participating. As loans are paid back, then the funds are paid back to MMB to pay back the bonds. And so technically it is just we're using the money for a period of time to assist farmers with issues that they're struggling with. Over 30 years of this program, we have done 2,888 loans, which have been issued for a total of $215 million. Loan losses, which I believe are sort of the envy of every bank in the country, are less than 0.1%. And those loans were loans that supported the Family Farm Security Act that unfortunately didn't work as well as one thought, so those loans were used to that resource was used to pay back those loans. The outstanding loan balance currently is $50.8 million and represents about 417 active files. The $35 million bond authorization request was calculated based on the past 4-year average of $9.7 million annually. And this authorization, by the way, is projected to cover the cost of the program for the next 4 years at about $9.7 million per year. The second request is for our laboratory. The ask is for $2.218 million. The lab was built in 2016. It's a beautiful building just to the south of the Orville Freeman building. We have today our equipment current value at $6 million. We have depreciated that equipment to about the 70% level. The request is for, again, $2.218 million. It's cash in the bonding bill. This would certainly replace and cover those depreciated assets. It's a state-of-the-art, world-class laboratory. If we want to continue to maintain that world-class laboratory, we certainly need to take care of the equipment. And equipment, as you know, Mr. Chairman, the needs change every year. By the time you buy a piece of equipment for the lab, as soon as you get it installed, it is probably already obsolete, the way things go. So with that, I'll take any questions you have.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm going to go a little bit out of line here. Commissioner of Higher Ed, Commissioner of Veteran Affairs, and Minnesota Housing Finance Agency. Please come forward. Welcome to the committee. Pretty sure he wasn't talking about my gray hair, was he? Senator, I got to call you Senator Colbert Miller.
I don't think he was, Senator. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Members, very briefly with regards to post-secondary education, I think the governor thinks the bill is in pretty good shape. He would obviously like it to be a little larger because he thinks at the University of Minnesota, the health science educational facility is crucial to the future of the state's economy and its healthcare systems. And the facilities badly needs upgrading so that we can stay a world-class medical school. With regards to Min State, the ranking, you go to, Senator Senjum goes right down the list. That's very good. HEAPR, a little low. He would like to see more HEAPR. And then I think at Bemidji State, the Academic Learning Center is pretty crucial to that, as the Senator knows, pretty crucial to Bemidji right now. And at Rochester Community and Tech College, the Memorial Hall renovation is pretty crucial. And then the planning for clinical science phase 2 at Mankato. Otherwise, the bill kind of is in order with regards to rankings, but I just must say that the education medical facility at the universities, the governor feels is very important.
There's always certainly more need. There's no question about that. Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner, how are you? Welcome to the committee.
Yeah, thank you. Mr. Chair, members of the committee, my name is Larry Shalato. I'm the Commissioner of Veterans Affairs for the state of Minnesota. First of all, we reviewed what you have done already, and a thank you for supporting the veterans and the veterans' homes. But to use a quote from one of the Apollo 13 missions, or the Apollo 13 mission, mission control, we have a problem. And the issue is not the repair and maintenance and the maintaining and so forth, but we have a truss bridge that no one seems to own. It's in Minneapolis, it's in Hennepin County, it's next to the Veterans Campus, and it also has been closed down for the last 3-4 years. The issue that we do have, it is one of only 2 ingress-egress routes in and out of that facility. The number one complaint of the Family Council is marathons. Why marathons? Because when you run that marathon, you tie up every road surrounding the Minnehaha Creek area. And if anyone were to have a heart attack or something of that nature, there's no helipad, there's no route that's access. So I just ask that this be given additional consideration. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you so much. Welcome to the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee, Senator Senjum. My name is Mary Tingerthal, and I'm Commissioner at the Minnesota Housing Finance Agency. We want to thank the committee for your support of housing over the years. This bill that has been brought forward last year and today includes $35 million for housing infrastructure bonds and $10 million for general obligation bonds for public housing rehabilitation. We've learned since 2012, when housing infrastructure bonds were first created by this legislature, that they've been an incredibly important source of funding for deeply affordable housing, and particularly for permanent supportive housing to serve people who have been homeless, including veterans. Minnesota's homeless rate has decreased over the last 2 years by 13%, which is different from what has happened in other robust economies across the country where housing is very short. This is in large part because of the commitment of this legislature to build housing and view it as infrastructure for those who have experienced homelessness. You have a handout that looks like this, which will show you on the front side photos of 5 of the projects that have been constructed and are now open, serving people from Grand Rapids, a project that serves the severely mentally ill, to Prior Crossing in St. Paul, which serves youth, to Hiawatha Bluffs, again, a facility for people with mental illness, Upper Post Veterans Community that serves homeless veterans, and just opened last week is the Higher Ground facility managed by Catholic Charities in downtown St. Paul. On the back of that handout, we show you that every dollar that you've entrusted to us in previous years has been put to work with everything under construction but for one project. I want to call your attention to the general obligation bonds, which are used exclusively to renovate public housing, which is located in virtually every one of your communities. 75% of those projects have gone in Greater Minnesota. For housing infrastructure bonds, that's been about a 50-50 split. We've supported housing in many communities, not even shown here. With your support, we've been able to provide 1,900 units of housing, supporting over $210 million in construction costs that are all done by local labor, and that's housing infrastructure bonds, plus another $25.5 million in those emergency repairs for public housing. If a bonding bill passes this year, we would have an immediate competitive process and be able to get that money committed to projects within 6 months of the bill passing. The governor has proposed a larger amount, including some additional ability to use previously authorized debt service because we were able to save money on our earlier bond issues. As the committee continues its work, we encourage you to consider these higher levels, but we are appreciative for the broad bipartisan support for housing infrastructure bonds. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, three. The next three will be Department of Corrections, Human Services, and Employee and Economic Development. And again, I must remind you, 2 minutes is what we're allowing for time here. We're talking on or about 4:30 of getting this bill voted on, so please adhere to the 2 minutes, if you could. Please identify yourself. Welcome.
Mr. Chair, members, my name is Chuck Johnson. I serve as Deputy Commissioner at the Minnesota Department of Human Services.
Welcome.
Thank you for the opportunity to testify on human services needs in bonding this year, and thank you to the bill that you provided. Thanks for a couple of items that are included in the bill that we are appreciative of. One is the Child and Adolescent Behavioral Health Services facility in Wilmer. This is a critical need for kids who have extreme mental health issues and behavioral needs, and we're happy that that has been included. Also included in the bill is a $2.25 million for security and safety upgrades at our Anoka Hospital, psychiatric hospital. For our patient and staff safety, we think these are really critical upgrades, and we appreciate the support for it. Also included in the bill that we're appreciative of is the funding for the St. Peter campus in the second phase of the Minnesota Security Hospital. If you haven't been down to see the first phase, which has been completed, it's very beautiful. We're moving into it now as we speak. However, the bill does not include one piece of that request, which is $14 million for a transition building. We would like to have that transition building as part of the overall plan because transition services are really important to the facility, really important to the services we provide to the individuals who are committed to us as mentally ill and dangerous. It's also important because part of our overall plan for the St. Peter campus is really to separate those patients who are committed to us as mentally ill on the campus on the top part of the hill and use the lower part of the campus for our Minnesota sex offender program. That is to completely separate those two programs. Without having the second transition facility, we're going to be left with some of our mentally ill patients on the lower campus in the same area where the sex offenders are. We don't believe that that's appropriate or where we want to be going forward. The bill also does not include a governor's request for $14.5 million for continuing to build out the services for the sex offenders on the lower campus in St. Peter. This is the community preparation services part of the sex offender program, which is the fastest growing part of the program. We have about 89 men in the program right now. Through the first phase of bonding that we got in 2014, we opened up some beds this fall, 30 beds. They filled up immediately. This is going to be the fastest growing part of the program. We need that capacity, and we would appreciate inclusion of that in the bill as well. Also, for the sex offender program, the bill does not include the governor's request for alternatives. These would be off-campus alternatives, less restrictive environments. For some of those individuals who might need more like an assisted living kind of style of housing, don't need to be in a razor wire, behind a razor wire facility, do need a secure facility and 24-hour supervision, however. And then finally, important to the governor's recommendations and not included in the Senate bill are the early childhood recommendations. Early childhood facilities, we have facilitated this process off and on through bonding appropriations for over 25 years, built facilities across the state working with communities. These are critically important now as all-day kindergarten and expansion of pre-K has started to create a greater demand for facilities for children who are in early childhood. And we'd appreciate that inclusion so we can continue the work we're doing in early childhood. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Deputy Commissioner Carlson, welcome to the committee.
Mr. Chair, Senator Senjum, members, my name is Terry Carlson. I'm the Deputy Commissioner of the Department of Corrections, the Facilities Division. Senate File 210 contains $40.9 million for corrections, and each of you should have a handout that looks like this that outlines what the 3 priority areas are for Senate File 210. The first is $20 million for asset preservation. That's the same amount that was in the governor's bonding bill. We certainly recognize and appreciate the importance that you place on maintaining the infrastructure of our old prison facilities. We need this money to deal swiftly with life safety and security issues that arise. Several of our facilities are more than 100 years old, and others have been converted from regional treatment centers. Our staff face many challenges working in these facilities and maintaining these facilities, so thank you for that support. The asset preservation money gets distributed based on need to the 10 correctional facilities, creating jobs throughout the state. The second project that has been funded is $19 million for Phase 2 of the St. Cloud project. This renovates existing space at our St. Cloud facility to greatly improve safety and security of the intake and process at that facility. We also appreciate support for that project. The third project on this Senate file list is the Moose Lake Control Room renovation at $1.9 million. The Control Center is a hub of activity of security monitoring and allowing an access point to get into our secure facility. So improvements are needed in this facility to enhance security and life safety concerns. Again, thank you for recognizing the importance of this project. There are 4 projects on the governor's bonding bill that aren't addressed in Senate File 210. 3 of these projects do include adding beds to several facilities, existing facilities, to deal with our population needs. And so we request some consideration to hear about those at a later date. And then also, we do need money for our St. Cloud perimeter wall, the granite wall restoration. The mortar is decomposing and needs to be replaced. So we appreciate all of the funding that has been allowed in this bill, but we do have more needs.
Thank you. Deputy Commissioner McKinnon, welcome to the committee.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members. Thank you. I am Kevin McKinnon, the Deputy Commissioner for Economic Development at DEED. Thank you for taking testimony today and allowing me the opportunity to actually thank you, Mr. Chair and Senator Senjum, for including 3 important DEED programs in this bill that support economic development. While all the programs that you've included in the bill serve different purposes, they do share a common mission, and that is to put Minnesotans to work and to assist and strengthen our communities. DEED and MnDOT jointly operate the Transportation Economic Development Program, or TED, for which it's called, which is specifically designed to provide funding for transportation public infrastructure improvements associated with business expansion or relocation. TED helps offset the costs and in the process has helped attract and retain companies all across the state. Successful projects have occurred all across the state in Zumbrota, St. Cloud, Redwood Falls, Carver County, and more, One great example of this was in Perham, where we were able to assist with a new interchange to divert existing and future truck traffic for several businesses and provided better access to a hospital. So a great example of supporting business and community growth. In addition to transportation needs, communities have many other infrastructure needs to attract businesses, jobs, and people. And one of those that you've addressed in your bill is the Greater Minnesota Business Development Public Infrastructure Program, which we're appreciative of. BDPI was established in 2002 to ensure that rural communities have access to the financial assistance they need to make infrastructure improvements to support business development. Since that time, over 125 communities have received assistance from this program. This is a competitive program and provides cities with up to 50% of the public infrastructure costs necessary for economic development, such as water, sewer, and roads. Recent examples of projects include those in Arlington, Carleton County, Claremont, Melrose, and a great example is in Owatonna, where we supported Daikin with an expansion by providing $300,000 for stormwater ponding and road improvements. You've also included the Innovative Business Development Infrastructure Grant Program. This is a statewide competitive grant program, unlike the one I mentioned before, which is only available in Greater Minnesota, that also pays for 50% of the public infrastructure costs. This one supports advanced industries such as advanced manufacturing, medical technology, and the like, and businesses that are engaged in high-tech proprietary activity. Lots of successful projects around the state, including which one that started this program was St. Jude, and doing the Rice Street expansion in St. Paul, but many examples in Moorhead, Mankato, Wilmer, and more recently, $300,000 to Pine Technical College in Pine City. With your support, these investments in DEED programs will create jobs and grow local economies across Minnesota. Thank you again for this opportunity.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm going to go by the last name, McHenry, Kudelka, and Lakismo. Change that to Landwehr.
It's a funny spelling, Mr. Chair.
Mr. McHenry. McHenry, go ahead.
Mr. Chair, members, Kevin McHenry, Assistant Commissioner from the Department of Education, here just to briefly testify in support of the education initiatives that you've included in your bonding bill. Specifically, the Red Lake proposal, we've included $14.07 million for the elementary and early ed center for Red Lake. This will go towards providing a facility as they're experiencing rapid growth in their elementary community. Specifically, this is needed due to not only the concentration of poverty in the district, but also the lack of a tax base, which makes it impossible for the district to levy to build facilities, which we see in other school districts. Second, we appreciate the $2 million in library construction and accessibility grants. This is a program that has been in existence since 1995 and it truly touches all part of the state. For every dollar invested, we've seen on average a local match of $6.83. And we've seen 95 projects in Greater Minnesota and 39 metro area projects since the program began. And finally, although it's not included in the education specific area, it's in the local government area, but we do appreciate the inclusion of the $1.5 million for Olmsted County for the Dyslexia Institute. That will help support and build a facility that will support local, regional, and national literacy work with the Dyslexia Institute of Minnesota. With that, I thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Kudelka.
Mr. Chair, members, Angie Becker-Kudelka. I'm the Assistant Director with the Board of Water and Soil Resources.
Welcome to the committee.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, members, thank you for this hearing and the important projects that are included in this bill. The two that we would like to reference are the Minnesota CREP and the Local Roads Program. So the Minnesota CREP, the Conservation Reserve Enhancement Program, has $10 million in this bonding bill. However, there is new news to share. Last week, with strong bipartisan support, the governor signed an agreement with the federal government for conservation easements that are voluntary, that are locally driven, and that are targeted to the most environmentally sensitive acres. These will create buffers, wetlands, and wellhead protection for drinking water. This is significant for Minnesota because it brings $350 million of federal dollars into the state that are direct conservation payments to landowners if the state can match with $150 million. The match is needed early in the program because the state cannot approve landowner or farmer applications without having the appropriations in hand. The governor has recommended $30 million of bonding. This will get the dollars out to landowners now, and rather than waiting another year on the construction season for conservation practices. It's also a tool to get dollars out to assist with the implementation of the buffer law. The second program is the Local Roads Wetland Replacement Program. This program is a statutory mandate where it's a process where local road authorities, so townships or counties that are working on road projects, let's say they're going to widen a road that impacts a wetland, they don't have to do the mitigation. They tell the state how much land is impacted, and then the state does the mitigation. The local road authorities and the state have found this to be a successful working relationship and appreciated by both because it makes their work more efficient and their process more streamlined. It also makes for better wetlands. Instead of making small wetlands right in the road right-of-ways and ditches, it makes for combining wetlands into more efficient and economically sensitive ones. However, over the last several bienniums, bonding funds have not kept up with need. And as a result, this year, for the first time ever, we have had to close 3 major areas in the state to doing any more of these projects. The bonding bill has $5 million. The governor has recommended $10 million. And we will not be able to reopen bank service areas and sustain them without additional funding. With that, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Commissioner Landwehr.
Mr. Chair, members, Tom Landwehr, Commissioner of the Department of Natural Resources, sitting in for Kent Lockesmo.
Welcome to committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members, and thank you for considering this bill, which would direct approximately $63 million to the Department of Natural Resources. In the interest of time, I won't go into detail on those line items, but I will mention that these dollars are critically needed to maintain the built assets the Department of Natural Resources manages for outdoor recreation and natural resource-based businesses. 2/3 of this amount is for state-owned projects. 1/3 is pass-through dollars, such as the $11.5 million dedicated to flood damage reduction, which will go to local communities to help them deal with flooding projects. Priority of the department with the remainder of that funding would be to take care of assets we currently own. To that point, $25 million is targeted towards asset preservation. The department manages approximately $2.8 billion in built assets, including half of the 5,500 buildings that Commissioner Mossman mentioned. We have about 2,700 buildings under our management. A recent review showed a $342 million backlog of deferred maintenance. If we were going to address that over 10 years, we would require about $130 million a year just for maintenance of the existing infrastructure. Our proposal is to take care of what we've got. This bill would give us a good start. Further, it will create jobs all over the state of Minnesota because we are located in every county in the state. We appreciate your consideration, Mr. Chairman, members, and we'll be here as well. Kent Lockesmo, if there are any questions.
Thank you very much. Next presenters, Barkus, Schaefer, and Freeman. Welcome to the committee. Please identify yourself.
Thank you. My name is Joanne Bartkus. I'm the director of the Public Health Laboratory at the Minnesota Department of Health. Mr. Chair, members of the committee, I'd like to thank you for inclusion of our funding request in this bill. As a reminder, our request is for $2.3 million for the purchase of capital equipment for the Public Health Laboratory. As you're probably aware, the Public Health Laboratory provides critical testing for the detection and characterization of a wide range of public health threats, including infectious diseases, think Zika virus, environmental contaminants in drinking water, or other environmental matrices, and to identify heritable and congenital disorders of newborns to help provide them with rapid treatment and improve their outcomes. The reason for our request is that at the same time that our demands for testing have become more frequent and the testing is more complex, our equipment has reached or surpassed the end of its service life, and some are no longer even supported by the vendors. And in addition, we have no dedicated source of funding to purchase replacement equipment. So just to not be exhaustive, but to give you a couple of examples of the types of equipment we would be looking into, instruments for detection of radiation, for example, in drinking water or monitoring outside of the nuclear power plants or in the event of an intentional release of radioactivity. Our current instrumentation is more than 20 years old, and actually one of our instruments runs a computer that still runs DOS and uses a dot matrix printer. So certainly Minnesota IT is very supportive, I think, of us replacing that instrument. Also, we are replacing our DNA fingerprinting methods that we use for bacteria for detection of foodborne disease outbreaks with a new technology which is faster and better and actually less expensive in the long run, and it will allow us to identify outbreaks more quickly with fewer numbers of cases so that we can identify the outbreak rapidly to prevent more people from becoming ill. In the interest of time, that's all I'll go through, but thank you again for including our request.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Barkas.
Schaefer.
I'm sorry. Schaefer.
Chair, member of the committee, my name is Tom Schaefer, Assistant Commissioner at Minute Services, and I'm here today to talk to the Minutes request of $1.432 million to repurpose data centers. As many of you know, Minute Services' primary or number one priority is cybersecurity, and as part of that, protecting citizen data and moving critical systems into secure data centers. As part of that effort, there are a few state data centers that are on state property that will be vacated out of state property and into the enterprise data centers, which have better security controls and allow us to secure that data better. As part of that process, we'll have vacated data centers that will be available for staff space, which is critical on the Capitol complex right now. And because of the expensive air conditioning, fire suppression systems, and the power management systems needed for a data center, it's an expensive effort to move those back. It's not a simple remodel. So as part of this bonding effort, we are asking to get $1.432 million. I appreciate it being added to this bonding bill, and I ask for your support. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Mr. Freeman.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members. I'm Jeff Freeman, Executive Director of the Public Facilities Authority. The PFA provides financing to cities throughout the state for drinking water and wastewater infrastructure projects through 3 major programs. I thank you for including all those 3 programs in your bill. Providing drinking water and wastewater services is a basic function of municipalities and is critical for protecting public health and the environment. PFA low-interest loans and grant funds help cities maintain these systems by replacing aging infrastructure and making necessary improvements. These construction projects create jobs and help strengthen the economic vitality of communities. The governor recognizes that the state must do more to help cities meet these essential wastewater infrastructure needs and has recommended PFA funding to provide more robust assistance in a systematic way and a targeted way, including $25 million for state matching funds to the federal dollars that go into the Clean Water and Drinking Water Revolving Loan Funds. These are the largest programs that the state has to assist communities of all sizes throughout the state. The funds will match the expected 2017-18 federal dollars and help build the lending capacity of these funds to meet increasing demand. Also, $80 million for the water infrastructure funding program, the WIF program, which provides supplemental grants for high-cost projects based on community affordability criteria. The governor has also recommended that this program be expanded to include drinking water projects for the first time. Previously, it was only wastewater projects. And then finally, $62 million for the Point Source Implementation Grant Program, which helps cities make wastewater or upgrade treatment facilities to meet or to reduce the discharge of specific pollutants to meet water quality protection and restoration goals. The governor has also recommended increasing the grant percentage and the cap for that program. The governor's recommended funding is based on specific lists of projects and needs of cities that have projects ready to go that were approved last year and are on hold, and projects that are in line for 2017 construction. The projects are on the list for all of the money that the governor has recommended, and I request that you consider those recommendations.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Testifiers Beard, Lalick, and Roebling. I'll remind the former legislators that are coming up that we're at, I guess one is not coming up. There is a 2-minute limit. Mr. Beard.
Mr. Chairman and Senators, thank you. I'll remind you I was from the House and we can be brief.
Thank you. Thank you.
One of the vital public safety and public health services provided by government is the investigation of deaths and infectious diseases. This essential service supports both the criminal justice and public health systems, requires a significant amount of education, training, and appropriate infrastructure to provide the current level of services our citizens expect and deserve. Of course, I'm speaking about the Hennepin County Medical Examiner's Facility. Since about 2001, Scott County actually had a joint powers agreement with several other counties to provide medical examiner services. For many reasons, it became prudent for us to withdraw from that joint powers agreement, not the least of which was the hospital in Hastings that we were using fell out of compliance, the increasing cost, the increasing complexity of the issues we were dealing with. But then we joined with the Hennepin County Medical Examiner's Office, one of the best in the country, offered us an opportunity to buy in and use their services, which has served the population of Scott County quite well. We believe this proposal is exactly the kind of request the legislature looks for and embraces. It's not a specific locale. It is actually regional in its scope and quite collaborative in the way it works together. This planned facility is phased in with its implementation and future expansion capabilities. The facility will be built at a location that best supports and accesses the needs of the 3 counties, Dakota, Scott, and Hennepin. In fact, I believe you might hear testimony that I think we're looking at a site in Bloomington, somewhere in central Bloomington, making it very accessible not only to us, but we're anticipating further partnerships in counties to the south and west of Scott, Dakota, and Carver. I'm anticipating, I think, in fact, if I can drop a few names, perhaps LeSueur, Rice, Goodhue, and some of the counties that will be looking to increase their capabilities and cut their costs. I might point out that the operational cost of operating the facility currently and in the future is borne by the counties entirely or through a cost-sharing arrangement. Mr. Chairman and members, on behalf of the Scott County Board, I would like to strongly encourage you to support this capital request. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. My name is Melissa Lawlick. I'm the Department Administrator for the Medical Examiner's Office serving Hennepin, Dakota, and Scott counties, and I work directly with Dr. Andrew Baker, who is the Chief Medical Examiner. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today, and I'll briefly discuss the importance of the work that we do and why we are requesting state bonding funds for the Medical Examiner's Facility. The Medical Examiner's Office is a mission-critical function of local and regional government, and every day we provide a wide variety of services from investigating a homicide, addressing grieving families' most difficult questions, promoting donation services, to ensuring that the state's health department has statistics on opioid overdoses, gunshot wounds, heart disease, motor vehicle crashes, and many other items. You may ask why we need a new facility. We are currently located in a 50-year-old renovated food service facility across from Hennepin County Medical Center. Some of you have toured the facility and you know that we are very tight on space. Today we are performing twice the volume of work that we were in 2000 when we moved into the facility. We're directly serving 1/3 of the state's population, and we are pleased to say that Hennepin, Dakota, and Scott counties, we have agreed to a 30-year collaborative services agreement, and we continue to work as a unified regional medical examiner's office. Now, unlike any other accredited medical examiner's offices in Minnesota, we have a formal teaching mission that includes medical students, pathology residents, and forensic fellowship program, which trains future medical examiners. All pathology residents from the University of Minnesota spend at least 1 month with us, and we operate one of the only 35 accredited fellowship programs in the country and have done so for over 30 years. The chief medical examiners of Hennepin, Anoka, and Ramsey offices are all alumni of our training program, and recruiting the best trainees to Minnesota, training local talent, and retaining the talent to meet the needs of our communities is a major reason why a new facility is essential for the success of our educational mission. Our medical examiner's office also provides training support and infrastructure far beyond our primary service area for local, state, and regional mass fatality preparedness. Our employees hold key positions with state, national, and international organizations, and our subject matter expertise is routinely sought to provide training to county emergency managers and state homeland security offices. A facility that supports our education mission well into the future is an investment in the safety and the security for all residents of the state of Minnesota. We believe that this alone is a reason to request state funding to support our mission. In summary, our work informs law enforcement, the courts, the media, and every facet of public safety and public health. The bonding bill contains $2.68 million for planning documents, and we appreciate the consideration. We also urge you to consider the full request of $25.9 million to continue supporting our mission of serving the communities with the highest quality of death investigation services. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sir?
Mr. Chair, I'm here for the next item. I was so excited to get up here that I actually jumped the gun, but
Thank you. Welcome to the committee.
thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today. My name is Wayne Sandberg. I'm the county engineer for Washington County. I'm here today representing Washington County and the Metropolitan Regional Park System. I'm going to refer you to a handout that you should have received as I walk through my testimony today. Now, the Regional Park System is comprised of 54 parks and park reserves. This system preserves 55,000 acres in the metro area that is open for public use. It includes over 350 miles of trails. Now, while the Met Council oversees this system, the heavy lifting, the day-to-day operations of providing customer service and planning for improvements is done by the 10 partnering cities, counties, and special park districts that are shown in the handout. So while the money comes to us through the Met Council, these systems are truly built, operated, and maintained by local agencies with key decisions made by locally elected officials. Now, the system is still growing. The metro area continues to experience increased growth and diversity, and our parks need to grow and keep pace with the increased use and increased demand. To meet these demands requires capital investment, and the Metro Regional Park System substantially relies on state bonding to meet these capital needs. Senate File 210 provides the entire Metro Regional Park System with $5 million in bonding for capital improvements. We do want to let the chair and the committee know we are thankful and appreciative for this support for Metro Regional Parks. However, we also want you to be aware that our original request was for $11 million. This was cut down to $10 million in the governor's proposal. And now again, Senate File 210 further reduces this to $5 million. So this $5 million is going to allow us to build some great things, such as lake and river access at Lake Billsby Regional Park in Dakota County, and trails and playgrounds and canoe amenities at Keller Regional Park in Ramsey County. But because we are short of what we need, there are other projects that simply will not be built, such as trails, bridges, and winter recreation areas at Theodore Wirth Park in Minneapolis, and picnic shelters, playgrounds, and trails at Cottage Grove Verveen Park in Washington County. Let me summarize by saying we are appreciative of the consideration and inclusion of $5 million for Metropolitan Regional Parks. It's a lot of money. We're going to put it to good use serving the public. But please keep in mind that the need is greater, and if the opportunity arises to increase this amount, we, the coalition of local agencies that comprise the Metro Regional Parks, stand ready to put those funds to work delivering recreation, parks, and open space for the public. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Senator
Mr.
Roebling.
Chair and committee members.
Welcome to the committee.
Thank you. Claire Roebling, Communications and Legislative Coordinator for Scott County, and also speaking on behalf of the Metropolitan Regional Park System. Just quickly going back, we passed on the PowerPoint, but we have the handout on page 2. We just wanted to point out to those in the metro area what the amount of money would have been at $10 million. Of course, at $5 million, that will be half of that for projects. And every $3 in state bonding is matched by $2 in Met Council bonding. So it does make a big difference. Also, the projects in the areas where they will be is on the bottom of page 2, and the communities that will benefit from that. Some of those will drop off at the $5 million amount. You can see on page 3 the growth in park usage. Certainly this has happened as the population has grown in the metro area, as well as the amenities in the parks that people come to use. And then on page 4, we just wanted to point out how funding has come to the Metropolitan State Parks, or the Metropolitan Regional Parks, I'm sorry. We've received over $10 million in 2010 and 12 in bonding, and then in the more recent years, $4.5 and $4 million. We are appreciative of the $5 million this year, but we have seen that decline occur. But we thank you for what we get.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Nice to see you. The folks from Blaine and Afton. Mr. Ryan. Arneson and Palmquist, I believe. I apologize if I wander off the list here a little bit, but we'll start from the right and move to the left. Welcome to the committee.
And I gather that's your right.
That would be my right, I'm sorry.
And I'll make another observation. My name is Richard Bend. I am the mayor of Afton. Councilman Palmquist, who is very interested in this, is in the audience. I am going to be specifically addressing the 11.55 line item in the DNR funding, which is for flood hazard mitigation grants. Afton has had a pending project previously approved for construction in 2016. It's been on the books for 8 months. We have federal, state, county, and local funding partners. The total project cost is in excess of $16 million, including some local county work that is inextricably interlinked with that project. It exceeds or approximates $20 million. Our ability to start that project is dependent on the passage of this bill. We are extremely pleased that it is finally on the cusp of passing. I do, however, want to note, having canoed up and down our main street in the Old Village, which is our central commercial hub, and having observed businesses who have had to canoe to their places of business and residents who have had to canoe to them, that the funding that we will receive in part from the DNR is woefully inadequate if this line item is only funded to the extent of $11.55 million. We had applied for $3.5 million. We have an annual city budget that is less than the $2.2 million that we would receive, we have been told, if this line item were increased to $20 million. I want to strongly urge you to increase this line item, not only for the benefit of Afton, but also for the benefit of those cities which are similarly situated. Now, why do I say this? Is this because we are concerned about appearance or concerned about simple amenities? No, it is not. What we are concerned about is the health and welfare of our residents. We have non-conforming septic systems on very small lots in this old village. We have homes built in the 1860s to 1880s, a few in the early 20th century, and none which have been able to be significantly improved due to the fact that, given that they are in a flood zone, there is a restriction on any increase in the or any construction that would increase the value of any structure in the old village and cost in excess of 50% of the existing structure. This is a vitally important thing for health, safety, and welfare, and it gets the pollutants that currently run from septic systems in the levee into a sanitary sewer treatment system, again, inextricably bound. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for passing this bill, and thank you for my expectation that you will seriously consider raising the amount of this line item.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chair and members, my name is Tom Ryan. I'm the mayor of Blaine. I think I'm the only elected official that was with Governor Perpich when this facility was built. That's why I got way here.
Welcome to the...
And we're asking for a $3 million bonding request on a $7 million project. The road is a city street, which is 105th Avenue, which goes the entire length of the National Sports Center. The road is just about to the point of on repair. Last year we had 1,080 teams here for soccer around the United States, around the country, and it's be part of a rebuild, and it's part of a safety thing. We can't get the kids across this road anymore with that many teens. We were proposing a 4-lane divided road, roundabouts for traffic calming, turn lanes, sidewalks. We've gotten by all these years without a serious accident, and it's a large state tourism part of this state, and we're just requesting that bonding. This is our first time we've ever asked for any bonding, and it's very important to kind of show the people from around this country and around this United States that that we're doing our job.
It's a beautiful facility, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, committee, just a few additional points. This project does
Just identify yourself, please. I'm sorry.
excuse me, Clark Arneson, Blaine City Manager.
Thank you.
This project does have regional and state, and you could argue national impacts. It is a significant safety improvement. As the Mayor indicated, there are 4 million visitors a year to this state facility. Typically, the city of Blaine would assess this type of project, but it is almost all completely state-owned land, whether it's Metropolitan Airports Commission or the national sports property owned by the state of Minnesota. As the Mayor indicated, we've never made a request for bonding to the state of Minnesota that we're aware of, and we thank you for your consideration of this request.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Mr. Harnack, Mr. Hess, and Jason George. Welcome to the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Ron Harnack, coordinator for the Red River Watershed Management Board. And I would like to thank Senator Senjum for bringing this bill forward. The bond appropriations over the years have and continue to be a critical component of the state-local partnership towards greater resilience to flooding in the Red River Valley and statewide. Community flood damage reduction projects and distributed water retention projects in the watersheds are key to eliminating the flood fight, and flood recovery cycle that costs us so much money that prevention could eliminate. We should acknowledge that every dollar we spent on prevention of these damages and building these projects saves $4 to $7 for the flood fight and recovery. Flood hazard mitigation appropriations in your bill will go a long ways to addressing some of the most critical and priority projects that are on the table right now. It will not address all of them, but it will go a long ways to getting things moving forward. We've already missed one construction season by not having a bonding bill passed last year. One specific project's cost increase is $350,000 due to not having that construction beginning last year. Our hope is that this bill can pass sooner than later so that we do not miss another construction season. I would also be remiss if I did not commend DNR. I know the agencies don't get commended very often sometimes, but Kent Lockismo and Pat Lynch in the Flood Hazard Mitigation Program have worked very, very well with project sponsors to ensure that we get the biggest bang for our buck out of the Flood Hazard Mitigation Program. Appreciate the opportunity, and hopefully you can get this bill passed and out of here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harnack. That's what we're trying to do. Mr. George, welcome to the committee.
Mr. Chairman, members, thank you. My name is Jason George with the International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 49. We represent 14,000 men and women that build the infrastructure in the state, heavy equipment operators. I'll be very brief. We just wanted to say thank you for bringing this bill forward, support the bill. This is a jobs bill, very important for our members and very important for their families. In particular, I'd like to say thanks for the hundreds of millions of dollars invested in the transportation infrastructure in this bill. I would also like to say that we believe that's just a start. We echo some of Commissioner Zelli's comments that we need to go further than that in transportation and pass a comprehensive bill this year, which I believe we can do. But this is a great start, and these projects are much needed, and our men and women look forward to getting to work on them sooner rather than later because of the work that you're doing here early in session, which is also appreciated. So thank you, Senator Senjum. Thank you, Mr. Chair. That's it.
Thank you so much. Mr. Hess.
Mr. Chair and members, my name is Russell Hess. I am the political coordinator for the Laborers District Council of Minnesota and North Dakota. when our members, representing 10,000 skilled construction laborers in every county and every legislative district, sometimes only one or two, but every legislative district in the state of Minnesota, when our members look at the bonding bill, they see one word, and it's jobs, written on every page of it at the end of every project. Sometimes it's hard for construction workers to string together a career. What's great about the bonding bill is that it allows our members who live in some of those more remote areas of Minnesota to work close to home on projects that are important to them and important to their communities. I'll leave it at that. I think Jason covered it pretty well. Our guys work hand in hand, our guys and gals work hand in hand with Jason's. So we're going to leave it there.
Thank you so much. Testifiers are Arnosti, Kennebec, and Turner. Mr. Arnosti, welcome to the committee.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to testify. My name is Don Arnosti, and I represent the Isaac Walton League here in Minnesota. We would like to thank Mr. Chairman and you, Mr. Chairman, for bringing this bill forward. This is unfinished business, as many people have said, and I'll make my remarks very brief.
Please.
We would like to support and encourage you to increase the funding appropriation for 3 items that are already in the bill. And we thank you very much for what you put in the bill, but we want to underscore the importance of these programs and ask for a higher level of funding. The first one is the St. Louis River Estuary, and I know you've heard about this from other folks. I won't go into the details of it, but I want to say that as sportsmen and women, we recognize the value of that estuary as a fish and wildlife habitat and the incredible recreation and outdoor opportunities that this area represents. This is the fish nursery for Lake Superior, and this is a huge migratory stopover for a lot of waterfowl and other birds. It's vitally important that we complete this. I think you're aware there's 2-to-1 federal matching dollars available. It's probably a good idea to get those dollars while they are available. So we encourage you to fund both last year's proposal, which was $12.7 million, which is in the bill in Section 7, Subdivision 2, but the full request of $25.4, which was included in the governor's bonding request this year. That's the full amount that's needed to capture the $47 million of federal funds to complete the cleanup. Number 2, Section 8, Subdivision 2 is a RIM/CREP appropriation to Bowser, again, to capture federal matching funds. There was quite a lot of attention to this program in the last week or so when an agreement was signed with the federal government. There's $350 million that are to be matched by $150 million of state dollars. Nearly 100% of this money will go to rural landowners who voluntarily offer lands for permanent conservation easements in certain strategic locations that offer water quality benefits. Wetlands, expanded buffers, and areas around critical drinking water supplies. These are all in the public interest, and we ask you to increase the amount to $30 million because the state is short about $94 million in matching funds, and this is a critical component. The third item is Section 8, Subdivision 3, which is the Local Government Road Wetland Replacement Program. I know there's a lot of talk about the need to reinvest and improve our roads and bridges. That will necessarily mean some additional wetland impacts as local governments set about doing the repair activities that you'll be funding. Along with that comes an obligation to avoid and minimize wetlands, but in a unique agreement 20 years ago, we said the state would take care of the mitigation, the replacement of those wetlands, relieving the local governments of that burden. Your job is to provide the funding to Bowser to do that. Thank you for the $5 million that's in the bill, but we actually have a $10 million need and would ask for that increase.
Thank you. Several bills like that are already in the hoppers, so thank you for that.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Kennebec.
Mr. Chair, Senators, I'm Larry Kennebec with the Friends of Minnesota Scientific and Natural Areas. We encourage the public to visit these scientific and natural areas, as well as we offer our opinions to the DNR about SNA issues. As you know, the SNAs are the jewels of nature. We have a lot of them in Minnesota. They represent beauty, mystery, and wonder. For example, I've seen a bull snake climb a small pine tree. I've seen a big buck sneak through the grass on his knees by visiting these SNAs, which I do frequently. What I want to call your attention to is a handout from the DNR that I think you may have. Looks like this.
Yeah, and members, there may be some handouts that you don't have, but they will be online later today. So, thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
In that handout are two areas that bonding could be used by the DNR for SNA acquisition. One is the Felton Prairie Addition, owned by Clay County. The other one is the proposed scientific natural area by Horseshoe Bay on the shore of Lake Superior. Felton Prairie has very unique pollinators there, and as well as about 30 other fairly rare species. Horseshoe Bay represents a unique forest as well as some rare remnants of Arctic plants. So I encourage you to add bonding money to purchase these two spots. There's a couple of areas that represent safety. One is a well, and the other one is a proposed parking lot. The reason I bring these up is that according to the DNR, they don't use LSOHC and LCCMR money for government property. They only use bonding money. They haven't had any for 9 years. So I'd encourage you to add some money in your bill for purchasing these two areas that are owned by Clay County and by the school trust. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Ms. Turner.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, my name is Beverly Turner, and I'm representing Catholic Charities today. Thank you for the opportunity to testify in the Dorothy Day Place. In your packet of materials, you should have a handout on the Dorothy Day Place, which basically gives you just kind of an overview of the project. I'm very pleased to report that with your assistance in the 2014 bonding bill, we have completed phase 1 of the project, the St. Paul Higher Ground Facility. And in this past couple of weeks, we have moved our clients into the new emergency shelter and the supportive housing located in downtown St. Paul. And we're very pleased that no longer will our clients be sleeping on a thin mat on a cold floor in our cafeteria in the old Dorothy Day building. But the job is not done. And thank you for your funding for Phase 2 that's included in the bill before you today. This includes the Opportunity Center, which is on the back page of the handout, and provides the critical services that are necessary for this transformative project. You can't just house people or put them in emergency shelter. They need the critical services to go along with that to get them up and out of poverty, get them back into jobs, get them into stable housing, take care of medical needs, physical, mental, and chemical abuse, which the Opportunity Center will provide. And we will also have a special veterans hub to take care of veterans' needs, which are very high on our list in the homeless area. As well as the money for the GO bonds, we will also be providing housing above the floors of the service center that we would anticipate applying to MHFA for the Housing Infrastructure Bond Program, which is also funded within the bill before you. To date, we've raised $35 million in private funds from very generous donors. And as you can imagine, that's a significant private leveraging of state resources into this project. While located in the city of St. Paul, and if you look again in your packets, there are two maps that show you where our clients, existing clients, come from. And as you can see, they're from all over the state. So while we're located in St. Paul, we serve everyone from across the state. To date, 67 counties out of the 87 our clients come from. We have had amazing support from the civic and business community in both fronts in St. Paul, but truly believe this is a statewide facility that benefits all of Minnesota. In closing, I'd like to say that we are more than shovel-ready. We are chomping at the bit to break ground on the project this spring, and early passage of this bill will allow us to do so. Thank you for the opportunity to
Thank you so-
testify today.
Thank you so much. Testifiers Seeley Smith, Callahan, and Jurek. And again, testifiers, we're getting close to the end of the testifiers, so if you can keep your comments brief, we'd appreciate that. And
Mr. Chair, members of the Senate Committee, Capital Investment Committee, my name is Jeannie Seeley Smith. I am the 35-year-old president and CEO of Perspectives, a 40-year-old nonprofit that provides and serves women who are struggling to recover from addiction, homelessness, and mental illness. Through the largest supportive housing program within the Midwest, Perspectives serves over 53 women at any given time and over 100 children. I'm hoping that you have a packet that kind of outlines and shows you some of the families that we serve, as well as our new renovation of our family center. And on behalf of the board of directors, staff, and the women and children we serve, we wish to thank you for including our $600,000 for Perspectives Family Center renovation in this bill. I come with you with good news and bad news. The good news is that we are able to return over 75% of the women who come to us from shelters back into permanent housing. The bad news is that women and children are the fastest growing segment of homelessness within our nation. And they're mostly because of domestic violence. More bad news is that 100% of the children that arrive to us in trauma as a result of living in homes of addiction and abuse and poverty. This bonding bill will allow Perspectives to expand a very needed children's mental health program so that we are able to serve the children around the trauma that they have been exposed to. And we would very much like to work with many of our community partners who are doing that, and we expect to, but for right now, it takes 6 to 8 weeks for a child to get into any assessment. They would have immediate access with our new program. This bonding bill also provides Perspectives with dollars that will lead to a therapeutic early childhood development program for children who are between 18 months and 5 years. And they also have been raised in not only shelters and in our supportive housing program, but in the surrounding community. The good news is that early intervention has been proving time and time again to work. If done early enough, children are able to heal. Mr. Chair, committee members, thank you for this opportunity to speak on behalf of homeless families, a population that the social service community calls the hardest to serve. And I thank you for all that you do to improve the quality of life for those who live in Minnesota. Thank you.
thank you for your testimony. Rachel Callahan.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. My name is Rachel Callahan. I'm Regional Vice President of Advocacy for the American Heart Association, and I also chair the Minnesotans for Healthy Kids Coalition, which is a coalition that works around healthy eating and physical activity for kids. We appreciate very much that the committee has included the Safe Routes to School initiative in this bonding bill. The Safe Routes to School program is a statewide competitive grant program through MnDOT. It provides funds for safer crossings for kids, for improved streets and sidewalks so that kids can walk and bike to school safely. I have a handout I hope will be going around soon, but when you get it, you'll see there's a map on the back side. And I just wanted to provide you this map because it really emphasizes how statewide this program truly is. Communities large and small are looking at opportunities to help get kids active, and Safe Routes to School is a really key way of doing that. For a little perspective, in 1969, almost half of kids walked and biked to school, uphill in the snow both ways, I'll add. But now, just 13% of kids are walking or biking to school. And as a result, we see now currently a 27% obesity rate with our kids. So it's a significant issue. The American Heart Association and our partners support Safe Routes to School because our goal is to get kids active. And this bonding bill will help achieve that. So thank you for advancing this bill, Senator Senjum, and members of the committee. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, and for that, Mr. Jerk.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members. I'm here on behalf of the Cuyuna Mountain Bike Crew. Thank you to last year's legislature and this committee for including the $3.6 million to expand the trails. This funding is critical for the full potential of what the area has to offer. My family owns a small family resort catering to people that come up to the Cuyuna area. We've been open in about a year, and what's interesting about our resort is our cabins don't have TVs. And the reason why that is because the Cuyuna trails are so awesome, and kids don't even want to watch TV or play on their devices because the trails are such a great opportunity for families to get out and have fun. And so we really appreciate all of the support we've been getting. And with this extra funding, we'll be able to expand the trails to be going from 25 miles to 75 miles. Which is really a huge advantage to the area, not only to just Cuyuna, but the whole region of the Brainerd Lakes area, Aiken, the Nishwa Chamber of Commerce, the Mille Lacs Lakes area tourism, Visit Brainerd, and Aiken and Ironton, and all the major resorts around the Brainerd Lakes area are in support of this bonding bill. So we really appreciate you again for including this in the bonding bill for Cuyuna and the trails and the area with that surrounds us. So I encourage you to, if you're starting to making your summer plans for a vacation, I hope you consider making Cuyuna on that list. And I'm open to any questions you may have.
Mr. Jerk, thank you so much for the testimony.
Yes, thank you.
Mr. Nauman, Patrick Nauman would be the last testifier. I'm sorry, Patricia. Got a long list here. Apologize.
Mr. Chair and members, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Patricia Nauman. I'm the Executive Director of Metro Cities, representing cities in the 7-county metro area. I want to thank you for the inclusion of the $2.5 million for what is termed inflow and infiltration mitigation assistance for cities in the metropolitan area. Many communities are experiencing issues with excess levels of inflow and infiltration, which is when clean water ends up flowing from local infrastructure and making its way down to the regional wastewater pipe and ends up being treated unnecessarily. It also ends up using capacity in the regional pipes, which are intended for population growth and not intended to be treating clean water. Cities recognize the importance of addressing this issue, but the cost to do so can be very expensive. Metro City's initial request was for $10 million, and we do appreciate Senator Klein's recent introduction of Senate File 30 that does appropriate $10 million for this purpose. This is an important issue that involves the most basic of public infrastructure and has actual, can have significant public health and safety concerns if not treated and addressed. So again, I want to thank you for including the $2.5 million in the capital investment bill, Senate File 2010, and I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for the testimony. Thank you so much. And thank all the testifiers for their brevity in the presentation of your testimony. Senator Senjum.
Mr. Chair, thank you. And I would just like to very, very briefly, hopefully well under 2 minutes, just offer these comments, and at the right point as we turn this back over to the committee for conversation, possible amendments at the right time. I'd certainly like to make what might be and hopefully the appropriate motion. But I just want to reemphasize this is the bill that Senator Stump brought to the floor and last May 22nd. It was bipartisanly agreed to. If you think about this bill, and many of the people around the table were part of putting this bill together as early as fall of 2015 as we toured the state of Minnesota, and then subsequently through the 2016 as we worked on a bonding bill. It's a good bill. It's not an all-everything bill. Probably no bonding bill is. It's what we have. It's what we had. It's what we had. It's what we have today. And it is, in my mind, unfinished business. It's business I would like to see taken care of. It's, if you will, sweeping the deck, moving forward. It will allow us, Mr. Chair and members, to take a new look at new projects and old projects which still linger there as a result of the fact they're not in this bill. If we do not pass this bill, we have a bucket full of these projects, the old projects, the new projects. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it's going to be fairly difficult to put a bonding bill together, and particularly absent the tours. So hopefully we can move this bill forward, Mr. Chair. It certainly saves the construction season. That's important. And from what I hear from people that walk into my office, the whole issue of increasing construction costs are real. And with that, Mr. Chair, would turn it over to you and to the committee for conversation and decisions.
Thank you, Chair Senjum. I know you made a comment that you want to be very minimal with the amendments. I'm not sure how many there are, but if there were any amendments, you would only take those that would reduce the bill, not increase the bill. Is that correct?
That is, Mr. Chair, what I'm believing. We're not going to touch policy. We're not going to touch increases in the amounts of the bill. We're going to keep the bill intact throughout, and that's the goal here today.
Okay, members, moving forward, I recognize Senator.
Forgot my name. I'm
No.
new.
No.
Thank you, Senator Ingebretson.
No, actually, I'm sorry. I was going to recognize Senator Nelson first.
Okay.
She was first on my list. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to offer the A14 amendment. And Senator Senjum, this is one of those amendments that does reduce the cost. So, and I'll just, it's the Rochester International Airport project, and the bids came in lower than anticipated. And the feds came in with a little bit more money than anticipated. So this reduces the cost appropriately.
Senator Senjum.
Mr. Chair, committee members, I would certainly accept that amendment.
Senator Nelson moves amendment, the A14 amendment. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Amendment carries. Senator Pappas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You remembered my name that time.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at both of you at the same time.
Mr. Chairman, I just had a question for Senator Senjum and then a possible amendment. Senator Senjum, it was my understanding that the bonding chairs and the leaders last summer, and perhaps you were involved in those discussions as well, did come up with a compromise bill for a potential special session by mid-August, and it included some of the governor's top priorities that are unfortunately missing in this bill. Is there any reason why you didn't take up that bill and bring that bill forward to us? As I recall, the bill, Senate File 210, we didn't really have much of a chance to look at it. It came over from the House. Some people might have called it a scud. I don't know that Senator Stump had that much to do with it. Could you just kind of clarify, maybe not that so much, but why you didn't pick up the August compromise bill?
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Senator Pappas. The fact of the matter is, what I know about what happened this summer was a conference committee in June, although, of course, the session at that point had concluded, so whether that was official or not, I don't know. It's on my calendar. I don't ever remember being there, but so I remember that. Beyond that, I was not aware of, beyond what you read in the paper about the possible special session and agreements, I was not aware of any work going on with respect to the bonding committee. To that end, I called Senator Hand yesterday, and Senator Hand, tell me what went on. And certainly he indicated, at least to me, that there were conversations, but there was nothing conclusive that was determined. And I don't believe any document was written. I'll stand corrected on that. But I'm not given any indication that it was anything other than conversation in case a special session did occur. So I was completely out of the loop on the summer activities.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, could I go with my second request? Thank you. Mr. Chairman, Senator Senjum, I understand with your amendment that you did delete the Bemidji Dental Facility. They've decided apparently to find funding elsewhere. Does that mean, therefore, that there is $4.5 million on the bottom line?
Mr. Chair and Senator Pappas, the Bemidji, by their request, is deleted, and And so in my mind, we have, I'll refer to council, but we have not passed a bill, and so I don't believe that money is there, but I won't be the expert on the answer to this question. You may need to ask Senate, either fiscal agent or council. Go ahead.
Madam Chair and members, it's accurate that we haven't passed the bill out, but it's also accurate that if you were going to keep the total impact of the bill exactly the same as it started after Senator Senjum's amendment, there would be $4.5 million to spend.
Mr. Chairman, then, Senator Senjum, I would like to offer an amendment that we take that $4.5 million and add it to the Minskew HEPRA line. I noticed that the Minskew request was about $80 million, and we were only able to accommodate that at $35 million in this bill. I know there's lots of needed projects all over the state and all of our districts. I don't have the list in front of me of the HEPRA projects, so it's anybody's guess if your project is in the bill from your local college or not. But I would like to move to add that $4.5 million to, I think it's line 7 on the spreadsheet. Senator Senjum.
Mr. Chair and members, my intent as bonding chair was to keep this bill intact or lower. To do that, at least if you happen to be chairman of this committee, if you've changed this bill, if I change this bill or suggest it ought to be changed, I have, and many of them are sitting in back of me, I have a lot of people and people not in this room that are going to be at my door tomorrow, and it's like, why not me? And so while I love the idea of additional HEPR, I'd rather add it in a subsequent bill going forward. So I would suggest we not do that. Obviously, you can offer the amendment. We can see where it goes.
Thank you, Mr.
Madam Chair and Senator Pat, I'm not the committee. I happen to be the chair, but I'm not the committee. You are the committee.
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Pappas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Senator Senjum. I was very aware that I'm not raising the amount of the amount and of the whole bill, and since I'm the first amendment, and if we decide to put the $4.5 million into HEPRA, therefore we are at the total amount in your bill with the Bemidji project being deleted. And I think this is a proposal that will benefit everyone in the state, because if you're not already on the list to get your HEPRA project, then you might be with this additional $4.5 million.
Mr. Chair, I would just add that we frankly already lowered the bill some amount given the Rochester amendment.
Oh, so maybe we have more to spend on HEPRA.
Excuse me, Senator Schoen. Yeah. Senator Schoen, quit. Okay.
Okay, well.
Senator Pappas.
Well, Mr. Chairman.
To the amendment.
Mr. Chairman, is it okay? I don't have it written, but it's a pretty easy adjustment to that line to just increase the HEPRA amount for Minskew by $4.5 million. And Mr. Chairman, I just really feel like we want to show our support for Minskew, so I'd like to ask for a roll call vote.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, Senator Pappas, I would at this point trying to keep the bill as the bill that we have and had last May, with the exception of deductions. Suggest a no vote on that amendment.
Senator, I think that's a fair way to treat this. This bill already has been jeopardized, derailed, whatever you want to call it, and I'm the chair today, so I can say that. And quite frankly, I think you've been very fair here, and if we open this thing up for new appropriations, then why not somebody that's in the back that didn't get quite as much as they wanted? So I think it's fair. I won't be supporting the amendment. Any further questions? Hearing none, the amendment is. Roll call. Did you request a roll call? Okay, to the amendment.
I did.
Roll call.
Senator Senjum.
No.
Senator Engelbretson.
No.
Senator Pappas.
Yes. Yes.
Senator Champion. Senator Dames.
No.
Senator Ecorn.
Eichhorn? No.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Eichhorn?
No.
Senator Eakin.
Yes.
Senator Herr.
Yes.
Senator Jasinski,
No.
Senator Klein,
Yes.
Senator Lane,
Yes.
Senator Miller,
No.
Senator Nelson,
No.
Senator Newman,
No.
Senator Osmek, Senator Ralph,
No.
Senator Schoen,
Schoen's here. Schoen votes aye.
and Senator Sparks. There is 7 yes and 9 no, so it does not pass.
The amendment does not pass. Any further amendments? Senators?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I introduced the A1 amendment, $12 million allotment for Robert Street, the state highway in West St. Paul, and I do have 2 testifiers if you have time for them.
Senator, you said you had 2 testifiers, and this increases the bill, is that correct?
It does, sir.
Real quickly, real briefly, Senator, would you take some testimony on this? I guess 2 minutes each.
Mr. Chair, I'll be fair, it's a public hearing, and
Yeah, that's right.
and a member has made an amendment, so
Okay, please come
if it
forward.
can be brief.
Welcome to the committee.
Thank you.
Please identify yourself. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. Joel Carlson. I own a government affairs business here in St. Paul and represent the city of West St. Paul. We'll be extremely brief. I've got City Council Member Dick Vitale here to talk briefly about Robert Street, which we appreciate the committee including in your bill last year, but in that last night it fell out. This is a significant road project on a trunk highway that runs through the city of West St. Paul, and we're looking for some funding equity on this trunk highway. Right now, the city is put in excess of 55% of the project, and we would like to bring that to a more reasonable balance between the federal government, the state, and the city's contribution. I'm turned over to Councilmember Vitale after that.
Thank you. Welcome to the committee.
Thank you, thank you. My mayor apologizes for not being here. She is gone on a vacation right now today. She left. Senator Senjin, Mr. Chairman, committee members, thank you for hearing me. Robert Street is...
I'm sorry, please identify yourself again.
Oh, I'm sorry. Dick Vitale, council member, City of West St. Paul. West St. Paul and Robert Street, which is Trunk Highway 952A, runs through the middle of it, 2.5 miles. It was in severe disrepair. The state had it ranked at the bottom 8% of Minnesota roads, surfaces, and we were in receipt of an $8 million federal grant, and we needed to start the project by June of 15, which we did. It was a 2-year project. It will be finished in the spring of 17 here. We've got about 6 weeks worth of work left on it. It's running around $44.6 million, and the brunt of that is being picked up by our West St. Paul resident taxpayers, both homes and businesses. West St. Paul generates about Robert Street generates about $17 to $18 million a year in sales tax for the state of Minnesota. I guess I could use the word beg, implore. Senator Metzen was trying to get this money to help finish off this Robert Street project. This $12 million is really critical to our budget. And that would bring the state's portion up to about 50%. I'll cut it at that. Thank you for hearing me, and I really would hope that you could include this in your project.
Senator Klein, you know that I travel that road myself quite frequently, and it is a very nice road. But again, we do have a process here. And to your amendment, anything else?
No, it was included in the bipartisan bill that passed out of this Senate last year and then did not return in the late hours of the session, and so I would encourage a yes vote.
Okay. Mr. Chair?
Well, Mr. Chair...
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair, Mr. Senjum, Senator Senjum.
Mr. Chair, this pulls at my heartstrings because this is all about Senator Metzen. But again, and certainly, if there's certainly another bill this session, we'll look long and hard at this. If certainly If not, summer tours will certainly be down to see this and get to know it better. But for the here and now, again, pleading to keep this bill intact, I would suggest a no vote.
Okay, members, before is Senator Klein's amendment, the A1 amendment. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? No. The noes have it. It is denied.
Thank you.
Anything else, members? Any other amendments? Senator Schoen. Senator Herr. I'm sorry.
Mr. Chair, I have an amendment A17.
The A17 amendment?
A17 has two projects in there, the Eastside Freedom Library and...
Senator Herr, could you give us the full number up in that right-hand corner?
Okay, A170019.
Thank you. Go ahead. To your amendment.
These are two projects, and there's a testify here as well, so I'd like to, if you can permit them to have 2 minutes.
They can come forward. Yep.
Eastside Freedom Library and Wonkin TP Center.
I think, members of the amendment, do you have a copy of the amendments yet? Not being passed out? I guess it's still being processed. It's still being processed. So
Mr. Chair,
meanwhile, we'll go
yes.
ahead and go ahead with testimony. Senator Herr.
And if they're ready, I just want to say that this amendment was two bills from last session and did have bipartisan support from the Senate. And so here, I'll pass on to the testifier and be ready for answer any question later.
And Senator Herr, the A19 amendment asks to increase the bonding bill by 4.2 million. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Welcome to the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Senator. My name is Melanie Kleiss. I'm the Executive Director for the Lower Phelan Creek Project. This is a $3 million bonding request for the Wakan Teepee Center at the Bruce Vento Nature Sanctuary for a $6.7 million project. We will raise the remaining funds for that project. It is an award-winning, nationally unique urban wild park right next to this capital city. It's unique because of its unusually large size for the location and because it is a significant Dakota sacred site. The Wakan Teepee Cave, which is believed to be the connection between the heavens and the earth. And we have support from Dakota tribes in the western side of the state for this project as well. It is of regional and statewide importance. This Wakan Teepee Center, Interpretive Center at the sanctuary is needed now because we have visitors increasing every year, and we have every fifth grade student in the St. Paul public system visiting the site every year, over 3,000 students, and it's growing as we continue to expand that curriculum throughout the metro area. There's also increasing visitors, and we need to ensure responsible and respectful use because of the sacred site status. It is extremely important to the Dakota people. The Lower Phelan Creek Project has an official agreement with St. Paul that it will cover all operating and maintenance costs going forward, so this will not be on the public rolls in the future. And we also have a handout with a fact sheet, updated fact sheet on this. Can we distribute it to the committee?
Yes, you can.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sir, would you like to?
Yes, my name is Daniel McGinnis. I am a board member and volunteer with the Lower Phelan Creek Project and a resident of St. Paul. I've been working on this project since 2003. I believe this is this is the third time that we have appeared before the legislature in request for this. Currently, House File 53 and Senate File 37, which have been introduced by our local delegation, is in support of this bill, and we would ask your support of this and consideration in this bonding bill.
Thank you. Any questions, members? Senator Nelson.
Thank you. I just have a comment on this amendment. Very worthy projects, as were the other two amendments. The road in Senator Metzen's district and the HEPR amount. And I just want to really mention, we all know how fragile bonding bills are. We've seen them derailed. And so cannot let it go without mentioning that if we were to add these spending amendments, we could see this entire bill jeopardized. And I just want to mention, so while these things are great things that I certainly hope we see again, and I'm sure we will, it's just the wrong time. I think it could totally jeopardize the broader and larger bill. Thank you.
Senator Herr, to the amendment.
For the amendment, I would like to ask a roll call for this, but
roll call requested.
Yes. I'd like to also add on that the jeopardy of this bill depends on our decision, whether we want as a senator, so whether we want to decide to jeopardize or not, and that's after that. I think jeopardizing mean not including every majority of the project that was sent out to the Senate last session.
Thank you. Any further comments? Senator Senjum?
Well, again, Senator Herr is a good friend, and these are wonderful projects, no question about that. Again, I'm just trying to keep the bill intact, maintain, at least from my perspective, the credibility of the bill from the standpoint of how I answer to others that would suggest why not me, why not us. And so to add an amendment at this point, other than what Senator Stump brought to the floor on May 22nd, is very, very difficult, and I would suggest a no vote.
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Prattles.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to urge Senator Herr to not request a roll call. I think that you don't really want people on the record of being against these worthy projects just because Senator Senjum doesn't think the timing is right for them.
Senator Herr.
Mr. Chair, I withdrew my motion.
Okay, motion for a roll call withdrawn. Any further questions, comments? Hearing none, Senator Herr moves Senate File 210A, excuse me, it isn't A, it's just Senate, A17 0019. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign?
No.
Amendment fails. Any further amendments? Senator Schoen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would ask you to go to line 34.6.
Members get that, line 34.6?
This is under Veterans Affairs, 34.6 to 34.13, talks about asset preservation improvements at veterans homes in Minneapolis, Hastings, Fergus Falls, Silver Bay, and the wonderful community of Laverne. I would ask that we delete $5 million in 34.6 and insert $7,651,500, which is should be the exact amount subtracted from Senator Nelson's project and helps our veterans homes that are in dire need. And if you haven't been and had the opportunity in your communities or others, this is a very worthy use of that bit extra money that came back. This does not add to the bill. This lets folks get construction work right away. These are going to be jobs in our communities and construction workers to work right away if we're going to send this down and make it happen.
Thank you, Senator Schoen. Just please understand that the amendment Senator Nelson had, take this money out of the airport fund, not this particular fund.
Well, maybe we can somehow connect. I thought we were the Senate. We could do anything. That's what you told me for the last 4 years when I was in the House.
I know that's what I told you, but it was... I hope I don't have to repeat everything you and I have ever said off the record.
Well, I mean...
You want to hear two cops' conversations, I don't think, do you?
How about we change that from, I was going to go for, what was Bemidji? That was 4.5? So let's delete what I just said, cancel all that. Let's just take this to 9.5 million.
Senator Schoen withdraws his amendment?
Yeah, I withdraw that amendment. New amendment. Delete 5 million on 34.6, Mr. Chair. Insert 9.5 million.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair, I'd like to see that amendment written out. So it's a
very
significant amount of money. I think we should get the amendment and then vote if that's the wish.
Sounds good to me.
So could we please get
Well,
the amendment?
So who's ever the expert at that, and then I'll ask for a roll call.
It's being done.
Mr. Chair?
Meanwhile, any other amendments? Senator Senjum.
Pardon me, was that withdrawn? Or
No, that's not. It's being drawn up. It's drawn up in paper form.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any further amendments? Senator Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And members, it's a little disappointing to see what's going on around the table. Senator Senjum brought forward this bill, and we're doing amendments just off the cuff here. And I think every member around this table supports our veterans, and every member, I think it's pretty safe to say, supports our higher education institutions around the table. So this is the Senate, and I'm a little disappointed right now on what's going on, and I just wanted the record to reflect that.
Thank you, Senator Miller. Any other comments, members?
Mr. Chair.
Senator Pappas.
I'll yield to Senator Pappas.
Senator Pappas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think we have a lot of new members that are here this year, and a lot of them aren't very familiar with this bill and haven't really had much of an opportunity to shape it. And this has been really almost our only hearing. We had one others with the commissioner of MMB. So, I think it's kind of unfair for Senator Miller if we have a little discussion and we want to tweak it a little bit here or there. I don't really think we're doing massive damage to the bill. I think it shows interest in having a bonding bill, and it shows that the committee is engaged and wants to be part of the process.
Thank you for those comments. Senator Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I'm all for discussion. Senator Pappas, you offered an amendment, which was a good amendment. I'm very supportive of our higher education institutions. You called for a roll call vote. Senator Herr called for a roll call, and you suggested that he did not do a roll call. So, again, we just let's remember, folks, that this is the Senate, and we have a lot of folks here that traveled from far away, and now we're waiting for an amendment to get written up.
Senator
So again, we all support our veterans and our higher education institutions.
Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As a veteran and as a new person on this Senate or in the Senate, there's some very good projects for my district. Highway 14, there's some money for that. The Minnesota Academies has some money in HEAPR for some needed repairs at South Central College and some maintenance. It also has for an expansion project at South Central College in Mankato. There's several others I'd like to add, but I would go along with Senator Senjum with, I don't want to see this derailed. When I was out knocking on doors, people want to see things get done and finish up business that hadn't been done. So I'm in support of this bill. There are things I would like to add, but I think in the nature of what we want to get done, I believe, correct with as well as Senator Miller, we'd like to see this thing get done without tricks and ploys to make it look bad and take roll call votes. So I will be voting in favor of this bill because it does have some good projects for my district. I'd probably like to see some more, but I think we need to get this done and move on for the next time when we can use money in 18 to fulfill many, many needed projects. And again, with the veterans and things like that, I can see those, but I want to see this get done without being derailed. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Senator Ralph.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to echo what the Senator just said, that we as freshmen came to this. I've made a great effort to study what is in this bill. As a freshman and as a senator, I feel that's my responsibility. There are a lot of good things. The bill does have something for veterans, $5 million. It has something for the Eagle's Nest, which is a veterans program that helps veterans with PTSD. This is in Sauk Center. It's a wonderful project. I agree that we need to get this bill moved forward, and the moment we open the floodgates, then everybody is going to be playing spoons and trying to grab the spoon off the table. And I'm afraid that's going to take place. And so, notwithstanding the fact that I am a veteran myself, I'm a Vietnam veteran, served there, I have deep concern for the education issues that we face. I presently sit on a working group that is studying 0 to 5 issues with children, trying to find ways to improve their educational situation. So I want to go on record that by voting against amendments to this bill that have specific application to veterans, education, or whatever else, I am not expressing a negative opinion of those. In fact, I will support them very heartily as we go forward, and it is my hope that if we get this bill passed, which is old business, and this is what my constituents told me to do, get the old business taken care of so that we can move forward with a fresh slate, go through the legislative process that we would go through on a bonding bill of this nature, and come up with another bill that addresses the issues that are being raised here today. So I will vote against the amendment and be supporting this bill. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Schoen, Senator Schoen.
Well, Mr. Chair, I seem to have struck a chord, and I'm going to make it very clear. I represent the same nearly 80,000 people everybody at this table does, and this is not my first rodeo. And yeah, I'm a freshman in the Senate, but I'm going to be here to represent my people. Now, let's be clear. The amendment I offered is not new. It's not a new bill. Senator Herr is representing his community. Senator Klein was representing his community because those are big issues. That's what we do here. And, you know, Senator Miller, I'm sorry it's uncomfortable, but that's the way it goes sometimes. And the reality is this simply was an addition of $4.5 million from a project that got deleted. We have a lot of opportunity in this state. You want to tell me, Senator Senjum, that you guarantee me that we're going to have another bonding bill this session and that we're going to take care of some of these projects? Because I know there's a lot more in the hopper, and I know that you care about these projects. Even for the people that will vote no on this, I know you care about it. I'll be the first one to say so. But this is an opportunity. It's not new money. It's money that's there. And, you know, I'm sorry that's uncomfortable.
Senator Schoen, we all know how we got here. We're really not wasting, but we're taking a lot of people's time here for something that wouldn't have had to happen. It really wouldn't have had. And yes, you were here. You were in the House. You didn't derail it. The Senate did. People on this committee were part of that. But here we are, trying to right it now. We're trying to make it right. And the people expect us to get our work done. And I applaud Senator Senjum for bringing this forward, and we all should. Because there's a lot of projects, a lot of highway projects, a lot of good projects out there that are going to go unfunded because of some foolishness that went on in the last 15 minutes of the last session. So members, we need to move on here. It's very clear that Senator Senjum is not going to allow the bill to change. And
Mr. Chair,
is our amendment ready yet, staff? It's not quite ready yet.
Chair, again, this bill is not everything to everyone, me included. But Mr. Chair and members, this is a $1,643,694,000 bill. This is a huge, huge bill. We had union people up here today talking about jobs. This is that's going to put a lot of people to work. This is a good bill, and it's a bill that I'm hoping, frankly, can make it through the path of approval all the way through. That it's got a ways to go. For anybody that says, well, we need more, there'll be other committees that see this thing, and you get other opportunities to react to it. But I would say at least Senator Pappas, from my side, I'm not being critical, but we not only had, I thought, an exhaustive replay of the governor's bill. We had certainly Ms. James and Mr. Casey take us through the Casey Mom, I'm sorry, take us through the bill the other day exhaustively. I have, on my accord, and our side has gone through the bill offline as a caucus. So I think they're comfortable with what's in the bill, and knowledge in terms of its contents and objectives. So one would hope the other side did that as well. I think we've had ample time to understand what's in this bill and hopefully vote on it in whatever way you want. But I don't think the lack of information is something that we need to be critical of.
Senator Nelson and then Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, as we're waiting for this $4.5 million amendment to be handed out, I just wanted to let both the committee and the public know why I asked to have that written up. You all will remember, if you were on the Senate floor on May 22nd, it was a hastily written amendment that none of us had ever even seen. In fact, it wasn't even written in amendment form. It was a copy of statute with some words crossed out and some new ones written in. Just a couple amounts. And so it's that type of reflexive action and spending money, actually, or changing things on the fly like that really was the precipitating factor in why we're here today. That whole bonding bill was derailed when there was this seemingly reflexive amendment that just came up. And so I did not want the Senate to at all get in that type of a situation again. And so I'm glad to see that Senator Schoen's amendment has been properly formatted and written up and has been distributed so that we can at least see what it is that he is asking us to vote on. Thank you.
Senator Miller to the amendment.
Thank you. I just wanted to correct the record. I did not use the words uncomfortable. I used the words disappointed, Senator Schoen.
Senator Pappas. To the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a brief comment, because I know we have the amendment before us now and people are anxious to leave. But I do think, Senator Nelson, that you make a good point that we should have written amendments before us. And actually, that bill that was sent to us by the House that we weren't able to pass in the end because of a disagreement over the amendment you mentioned, had, I'm told, over 100 errors in it. Over 100 errors in it that Senator Senjum and the staff here have corrected in this version. And yes, we have definitely taken more time with this bill than we did last session.
Members, the A15 amendment is before you. Any more questions on the amendment? I believe it reads page 34, line 6, delete 5 million and insert 9,500,000. Any questions? All in favor of the A15 amendment, say aye. Aye. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you call for a roll call? Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Senator Miller.
Never mind, Mr. Chair.
Take the roll, please.
Senator Senjum.
No.
Senator Engelbretson.
No.
Senator Pappas.
Yes.
Senator Champion. Senator Dames.
No.
Senator Eichhorn.
No.
Senator Eakin.
Yes.
Senator Herr.
Yes.
Senator Jasinski.
No.
Senator Klein.
Yes.
Senator Lane.
Yes.
Oh, excuse me, Senator Klein, that was a yes. Okay. Senator Miller.
No.
Senator Nelson.
No.
Senator Newman.
No.
Senator Osmic. Senator Ralph.
No.
Senator Schoen.
Yes.
And Senator Sparks.
With a total of 9 no, 7 yes, the amendment fails. Any further amendments?
Mr. Chair.
Senator Senjum.
Mr. Chair, in in honor of Senator Leroy Stump, who should have had this bill pass, I would move that Senate File 210 be recommended to pass and referred to the Finance Committee.
As amended?
As amended, yes.
Senator Senja moves Senate File 210 as amended to be re-referred to Finance. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. That concludes the matter.
What happened? Did it pass?
It did pass. For those of you that weren't paying attention, it passed. That concludes the matter. Thanks. Senator Senjum, would you like to move to adjourn?
Mr. Chair, the committee do now adjourn.
5:22.